love that.
Oh, hello. It's Tony Piccirillo here from E03, and it's David Votta, the president of ALA. Yay! We're here again to help the property industry. We're here to make you guys thrive. So we've got today, with popular request, we're talking about mindset. We're talking about responsibility. That's what we're talking about today, to aim to make you thrive. So, David, the first thing I want to say to you is it's all about mindset. It's all about first thing. There's 3 stages, I think, to be successful, David, especially if you're a business owner. Stage 1, get your mindset right. Okay, we're going to talk about today about that. Stage 2, take some action.
Yes,
because if you don't take action, you're not going to do it. And the next team, especially if you're a business owner, is get your team right. Make sure the team is working and you're all working together. And actually, if you're not a business owner, your team also includes everyone around you. You know, it includes your colleagues, it includes everyone at home. So it's all about that sort of thing. But today, we're specifically going to talk about mindset. And one of the things that's my favorite things to talk about is taking about responsibility and accountability. So one of the things I think is very important is we've got to understand that when a problem happens, you've got an event happening, David. So you get some bad news, then you got, what do you do next, right? So how do you react to that bad news? Well, the answer is you've got to pause and take control over that bad news and decide what to do about it. Because if you get bad news, if there's a recession on, okay, well, what do? You can freak out about it, or you can say, okay, there's a recession on. What am I going to do about that? What's my responsibility there? So, David, I know you do that a lot. You try and take control of everything you do, really, don't you? So what sort of things do you do to help you in your business?
You're always going to have these things. And if you ever think you're going to go through life and it's going to be completely easy, you're never going to have problems, that is a problem in itself. And this might sound incredibly easy. In those 3 points, people are probably thinking, well, that is obvious. But you would be surprised the amount of people that don't. You know, how's your day? Oh, it's been awful. I've had this, I've had that. Okay, right. You've had something happen during the day, but how you react to how that's happened is the key for moving forward. So, you know, you've had a bad phone call that's been really bad. They've been really mean. They've been nasty. Okay, well, maybe they're going through something tragic in their life and they're projecting that on you. So it's about how you receive that information. And then, like you say, taking the accountability of how am I going to move forward? Am I going to allow this to affect the rest of my day? And when I used to have hypnotherapy, I went through a stage of having hypnotherapy to train my brain in a certain way. I should say,
I knew David's brain was special. I knew
it's very special.
He's had it trained.
I've been trained and perfected, far off perfection. But anyway, it's kind of like. So she would say, David, rate your week. How's your week? Oh God, you know what? It was about 7 out of 10. Really? Okay, that's a bit low. Why 7? What could get you to a 10? I think, well, if this happened and that happened, what else? What was positive about your week? And I'll tell her one thing, and then she says, no, you're not getting off that lightly. Give me some more things. So I would go through, and because something at 2 p.m. on Friday upset me and didn't go the way I wanted it to, I felt the week was a write-off, when the reality was I sold 2 houses, I let 3 houses, I did 5 listings, you know, my team were really happy. We had a really good deal come off. You know, something happened great in my personal life, like my daughter is out of nappies when she goes to sleep. So you've got to really cling on to these positives, because the brain naturally defaults to the negative. And again, it sounds very obvious, but
David, 80% of your faults, 80% of people's faults are negative.
You love a percentage.
80%. I
love You're the god of percentages.
I love percentages because it's true. Because this is all science. This is we know it's going to work. You follow this, and know it's going to work. One of the big things, David, is the difference between. But some people say, well, it's not my responsibility. I can't be responsible for the recession. Well, it's your responsibility how you take it. It's not your fault. It's not your fault the economy's, in a recession, but it's your responsibility how you're going to control that. And I've got a really famous quote. I'm going to read out a quote, right? Now I'm going to read out a quote.
Go on.
So this guy, and I'll tell you who said it afterwards, right? He said, I knew it wasn't my fault, but how I reacted was my responsibility. So that's a guy called Billy Munger. Do you know him, David? You might not know him. He's a racing driver, very, very promising racing driver. He was 17 years old.
Yeah.
And he was tipped to be the next Formula One racer. And it was in a crash, and it wasn't his fault. And he lost both his legs, or part of both his legs, right? So, but to come from that, and he's talking about the crash. I mean, that's like a massive thing in people's lives.
Yeah.
And he's reacted like that. And we sometimes react very badly to things that really are not a problem. This guy's lost two legs. Yeah. It's crazy. So one of the things I want to do is I want to say to you, step one is isolate what you can control. you can't control the economy, right? But you can control your attitude.
Yeah.
You can't control the calls in, but you can control how many calls out you make. You can't control if if the conveyancing is going slow, but take control of it. And like that's true in your line, isn't it, David, as well? In lettings,
You
it's
get
all
a new
about taking
conveyancer.
control.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So step one is isolate what you can control.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So that's the art of greatness, is realize what's in your control and work on it, focus completely on it, and everything that's outside your control, don't worry about it, because you can't do anything about it anyway. Step two, okay, this is very easy thing to do, is don't overgeneralize. As people, we tend to overgeneralize. Oh, I'm no good at that. I'm never going to do that. I always say that. No one ever's going to agree that price. That's overgeneralization.
Yeah.
And I know I do it as well. But the art of being successful is don't overgeneralize, because actually, if you see a problem, something's happened. So we're talking about problems now coming to you. It's never going to work. It's not, I can never charge that commission. It's not, that property is never going to sell. It's about having a mindset to think it can happen on this case. It's about taking control there. Do you agree with that, David?
Oh, 100%. And it's about thinking, right, like you say, going back to the control element, what can I do to control this? And it's very easy to
This guy's that's why I do a podcast with this guy. He's a genius.
It's defaulting to that position, isn't it? Oh God, I've got a hurdle. How do I? The thing is, right, the easiest thing in the world, Tony, this is the little nugget for you. The easiest thing in the world.
Write this down. Everyone, write this down. When David says it's a nugget, write it down.
Get your pen and paper. The easiest thing in the world is to do nothing, right? So come in of an evening, I'm tired, I've had a long day. It's easy to eat dinner, drink a glass of wine, sit down and watch Netflix and do nothing. It's very easy, I often do it. It is very easy. Fortunately, I'm up at 5:30 doing what I need to do for the couple of hours before everybody else is around, so it's about doing that. I mean, I get up in the morning at 5:30, it's cold, it's dark, I'm aching. Do I want to go in the gym? Not really, but I need to get my head right, to get in the zone, to get my exercise, so I can eat those 3 bowls of pasta that I want, or pizza, So
I'll give you a secret there. I'll give you secrets there, because one shortcut to be successful. I've got 2 hacks to be successful.
Go on.
Right. One is work harder.
Yes.
That's a hack. Number 2 is go to sleep earlier. Nothing good tends to happen after a certain hour, because you end up watching, like David said, you end up drinking too much, watching Netflix. I get up really early in the morning, right? But I love that, because I feel like I'm up earlier than the sun. I've beaten the sun up in the morning, and same with you, David. We're beaten.
Yeah, I want to see the
most powerful force, the most powerful force in the world. We're beating it. Well, in the universe, not in the world. In the
We're
universe.
Unstoppable. If we can beat the sun, we can beat anything, and that's the way you've got to look at it.
That is a tip. So my one hack: work harder. What I mean by work harder, it's really what it means: work smarter, work focused.
Yes.
Work on the things you can control. Work focused. Put effort into those. Make sure you're really focusing on what you can do to make a difference and how to give solutions for clients. Get up earlier. I think that's a big thing for me. I mean, I do get up, and I feel like I actually have got a plus on everyone.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel good.
Head start, isn't it? Yeah.
And then the next thing, but we're only human. So even David, even great people like you, even the president of the ILA, sometimes you screw up, right? And the important thing for that is you got to accept responsibility for your screw ups. Yeah. Have you got a time that you screwed up and you think you learned from that, or?
Yeah, numerous times, and I think back.
Give me an example at work. Yeah, give me an example at work.
Oh God.
I'll tell you one. While you're thinking, let me tell you one. I've taken on property. We keep talking about price again, right? I've taken on property because I think it's kind of glory property, and I think I want that property just to have it in my books. But I've got it on at the wrong price.
Yeah.
So what is the point of me taking on that? That was my head thinking. That was, I like that property. I want to show off, but I was never going to sell it. Ended up getting a someone who's actually quite a difficult person. Never going to be happy. So I lost on that. It was no point in me taking on. So I learned from my screw ups, and actually very disciplined now to make sure that we don't do things like that. And sometimes, we work in conveyancing. I've learned from my mistakes. learn from my mistakes. And now our focus now is just make sure those deals go through. So what, David, what so have you got an example now for me in lettings?
Look, when you're a demigod and you're so perfect at everything, it's like, no, I'm joking. No, I think for me, it was.
I thought you were talking about me. I thought you were talking about me there. I thought you were doing an intro for me.
It's funny because when you write your literature, like your terms of business and stuff like that, you look at things, you think, right, what could I have done? Because one section almost counteracts the other bit. And I had my property mark audit today, and I'm thinking, yeah, most people are dreading an audit. They think, I've got an audit from property mark, who are regulating me. What are they going to find? Are they going to get me in trouble? No, that audit is designed to help you be a much better company and probably a better person. Like, I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, my stuff's great, but actually there's nothing major, which is really good. And I'm really delighted about that. But I've made about 20, 30 points that I want to improve on and tweak. And they've suggested tweak this, tweak that, do this, do that. And you're basically absolutely untouchable then. And I look at it and I think, that's it. But I did kick myself a bit because I strive for perfection. And when I don't get it, I'm like, right, how can I get better? And I know I've got my list. I've got my list of stuff.
Man. I've got my book. I'm trying to find another quote. I'm going to do another quote for you guys. This is so good.
Love
another quote. I do love my quote.
What
so
book
it's
is
all
this?
about.
Is this the one I wrote?
No, I can't, David. I can't share. No, I can't share that online. We mean you could talk about it after. I can't share that online. But I'm going to give you another quote, but in a second. But I want to say, David, what you basically said is you take responsibility for your screw ups, and failures are good, right? Because if you're not failing, you're not pushing yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not, and anything good comes from beyond your comfort zone.
Yeah, that's where the magic happens. Where you step.
It's where the magic happens because, listen, reality is everyone wants something more in life.
Yeah.
Whether it's more time, more money, whatever you want something more. So, if your current actions have brought you to where you are now, if you want to change, you want to get more something, that means you want to change your circumstances. Yeah. So to change your circumstance, you've got to change your actions. And to do that, you've got to go beyond your comfort zone. Okay. So one of the things I want to say, I know you say it all the time, David, is failure is good because it means you're going beyond your comfort zone as long as you learn from your failures. Exactly. As long as you learn from them.
And we create our environment. If your environment is I walk in late at night and I have to do this and I have to do that and I haven't done this, well, set your environment up a bit better. Like if you're constantly logging in, if you're logging into social media and you're seeing news feeds about things and people that wind you up, don't follow those people. Don't follow those things. Follow
David and I.
Follow
David and I.
You need just 15 minutes of your day. No, in the morning. Get up in the morning. Do your workout.
Watch it morning and night. Watch it twice a day.
Exactly. And then again before bed.
But I want to say Edison. This is not my quote because I'm still trying to find that quote. But Edison. Yeah. So he's the guy that invented the light bulb. You know how many times? You might know the answer, David. Do you know how many times he tried to find how to create a light bulb? How many times do you reckon?
Wasn't it? It was something like 100,000 or 100,000 times.
It was actually 10,000 times.
10,000.
But how many people?
That's it.
But how many people would give up after 10, 20, 100, 200, 300? People just give up. And he said, when they asked him, I said, but then weren't you discouraged? He said, every failure was another step towards getting my result.
Getting closer.
So it's like when you make calls, when you make outbound calls, when we make calls to try and get exchanges done, and you make calls to get landlords on and tenants on, every call you make is a step closer to you getting that done. So you might not be successful, one might fail, but you're learning all the time.
And you'll get the knockbacks along the way, but then how you spring back into it and how you deal with the knockbacks.
That's the theme of our show today. That's the theme of our show. I like it, David. So I got my quote. Van Persie is not my favourite team, but I'd say Van Persie says, "Losers look for blame, winners look to themselves."
It's a bit selfish,
losers
but I like
it. Blame, winners look to themselves.
Yeah.
It's about taking self-accountability. All the same thing. So, David, is there any closing thoughts you want to leave everyone with?
Well, I mean, have we done the third point? No, we were talking about mindset.
Third point,
wasn't we? No.
It was no. We got, and we're going to cover another time. We got action. We got mindset, action, and team. We haven't got enough time to talk about all that stuff because we're giving so much good information.
We've gone already.
We're done. We've done our 15 minutes.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
anything you want to leave anyone with?
I don't know. I love phrases and that, and I think there's one. There's no I in teamwork. There's no I in team, but there's 5 in individual brilliance. There you go.
Wow.
Well, they should
Look
work
at
in a
it.
team, but I like that individual thing.
Well, he's covered everything off, this guy. He's covered
Go on.
everything off. So, guys, don't forget, we're going to leave you. We want you to thrive. You people in property, you work hard. So if you work hard, why not thrive? If you put the hours in, why don't be the successful person you can be? So again, just to remind you, we want to put us to the test. If you've got any questions on sales, lettings, conveyancing, send them to us, and we might even get you on. You don't know, we might get you on, or we're going to answer them for you. We might answer them for you. So we're here to find solutions for you. Sign up. We've had quite a few people sign up to our motivational request for the weekly motivational quotes that you can use in your morning meetings.
Absolutely.
So please sign up, and we'll see you in our next session.
Looking forward to it.
See you later, David. Bye bye.